Yes, Lord. Good morning to each one of you, our dear Heavenly Father's children, to all of our dads, our moms, our young adults. I guess I could go down that temperament. Well, good morning, family. It's a joy to share this 14th day with you and to give God praise that we've made it to the middle of this first month of 2022. It is a joy to be able to greet you in the name of the one who is the reason why we've arrived right here. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. In earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, thine is the power, thine is the glory, forever and ever. Blessings be upon you and your household today. Out of our booklet, 31 Days of Biblical Empowerment, arriving at this 14th day, our focus this morning is Jesus is our GOAL. He is our goal. Our goal. Philippians 3.14 encases it this way: I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. I press on toward the mark. There is a place that all of us are anxious to achieve, and that reference here in the Philippian text is defined as a press, Usually when some basketball teams are interested in scoring in a multiple way in the segment that they are allotted to hold the ball, or to prevent the other team from scoring. So a press, an undivided attention directive with energy, with focus, whether that focus is to prevent a score or to score. There is a press toward that mark. And goal here for our efforts being directed toward being complete in Him is our press at the middle of this month. As we have come to this point where completeness of the first 13 days have been achieved. And now the balance of these days in this month becomes our goal. More like Jesus would I be is part of the temperament that we carry along with us as testimonies of previous years consolidate into this moment. And yet there is more. Yet there is more. In style, we need to encompass the style that life must be managed within to complete our goal. In substance, well, we are defined by not only how much we achieve, but with what temperament that achievement is consolidated. In substance, in style, in stability. How many of us have started something and haven't completed it yet? The substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of what we have not achieved yet is part and parcel the composition of this substance area, this stability. How level-headed are we? How truthful are we? How in touch with ourselves? Can we achieve this and still live with ourselves? The stability. Am I stable? Am I in achieving, and I reflect upon the goals I set and the achievements that I made and the sacrifices that I had to make as well in order for those achievements to come forth. I remember while in college, I had a great desire initially to be a lawyer. I was a political science major. I hung out with lawmakers. I used to drive my department head back and forth to Richmond. He was a member of the House of Delegates, the House of Representatives. He was one of the lawmakers of the Commonwealth, and I was able to be chosen by him to be his driver, not because I could drive so well, but because I did my work that gave him not only the desire, but also the to take a student out of class in order to help you complete your genre, your task. Was noteworthy. I felt honored. At the same time, the sacrifice meant that whatever I missed that day, because I was true to his request, he thought enough of me, so I had to continue to maintain my stability, my sameness, my soberness, my sanity, my smartness, in order for him to reach his goal and for me to reach mine. Philippians next chapter verse next. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. Paul finally says, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Think on these things. Think on these things. So to think in this instance, take an inventory. Think. Taking this inventory, derive an estimate, come to a conclusion. Think. Number what you need, reason. So check out the front, the middle, the ending, and reckon. Come to a decision wherein you say, this is how I'm going to complete this task. Each of these estimates of or derivatives toward thinking suggest a contemplation preceding decision making. Contemplation preceding decision that I have to make. It encompasses this inventory, honesty, just, distinguishing character, label or number involved. What is it that I have to give up? Or what is it that I have to come into agreement with to acquire this goal, this end? Because that which is lovely is not only to be admired, but for you also to be lovingly appreciative of who you are. I mean, to think is also to say, what will I look like after this? How will I be appreciated, or how will I be shunned? How will I be able to live with myself, or how much will I care about it as long as I reach my goal? There is some sacrifice. That which is lovely should be measured by reason. That which is of good report should reflect serious reckoning. That discipline will help you derive your personal contentment with reaching your goal. I think of the blood, the sweat, and the tears when I finally got to that point during my high school years in running track, sprinter, 50-yard dash, 60, 100. I used to love to run inside, sprint medleys. But inside running only helped prepare me better for when the track had to be outside, when the race had to be outside, when running had to be done outside. Preparing for being inside. I mean, running. We had a 3-level high school. I remember there at Craddock, and we had to run from the first floor to the 3rd floor, and then that was timed to run down, then to run back up, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. in order to build an endurance, to build the ability to breathe inside, to get acquainted with that in order to develop a type of system. I mean, the thought process of running inside, preparing to run outside, true measure of running outside. But wherever you ran, there had to be a contemplation as to what's the best way for me to achieve my goal. My goal. I've been running now for the Lord. I guess August 1963, when I was about 10 years old. It helped prepare me for answering this call. I said I wanted to be a lawyer. Well, I remember we got out of school early one day. One of the buildings now that is named for one of my instructors, well, he died that day, and his funeral was that day. And I hung out with some of the guys, and we didn't go to the funeral. The church wasn't that big, wasn't that large, where we could have attended. We sent our condolences. Classes did, and but I was on my way to my car, and I had to go up some steps. I was sitting behind the student union building with other classmates and other friends, and going to where my car was parked. I had to go up some steps, across one of the easeways, and behind one of the buildings, the nurse's ed building. But when I hit that third step, as I got up out of the grass, I was amazed at reaching that third step, and a revelation hit me. It's one thing to be thinking about what you're gonna do, but when you have a strike that shoots in, or an impulse that comes in, or in the sense I'm mentioning now and I reflect upon, is a vision. I saw myself not pleading a case, but I saw myself in a black robe behind a pulpit preaching. Now, I'd been in Sunday school, I'd been in church since I was a little guy, but the thought of preaching never had really been a contemplation of mine, at least not consciously, not full of effort. I wanted to be a lawyer. That's why I was in college. So I went on back, sat down and told the guys what I'd just seen, and the reflective words or the responses were, "It's about time," or "That's what we thought you were going to do." It wasn't a surprise. I was surprised, but they were not. They saw me in that light I had not seen myself. So I got up. I was going to go get in my car, and bam, that same third step. That same third step. That same third step stopped me again. I saw myself behind a pulpit in a black robe. That blew my mind. I didn't change my major, but I did. But after graduating from college, I got married by that time, and so the consideration was for my wife and me to come to a decision, and what I rejoice about is that my wife was my girlfriend then was my pastor's daughter. So to talk to him about not only her hand but her future, being embraced by one who wanted to be a lawyer, but then ended up going to seminary. Of course, he gave us his blessing, and from May to that September, it was a period of readjustment, and the Lord allowed that goal to be reached. Had to drive up to Richmond every Friday, every Monday. I'd drive back on Fridays, but every Monday. And we literally stayed at the school, Virginia Union, who was in a partnership with the Presbyterian school there, and we were able to take one of their buildings, and we had beds in the library, everything that was the satisfaction of going away from home, getting into that library and in those classes and studying the Bible itself and it as a literary composition, and reading the letters and coming into better acquaintance with the books of the Bible and what they mean, and when they were written, and who wrote them, and what was the impact, what was the goal of each one of these books, the goal of Christ, the goal of preaching, the goal of teaching. What is that goal? What is the goal? The goal of the devotion, the goal of writing, the goal of doing this, and part of the goal is that you're better acquainted with the book, to write books, and to help make the word plain, to reach a goal, to help someone reading the Bible to better understand the Bible, because better understanding it, you better understand yourself. You better understand yourself, and you're able to help somebody else as you pass along this way. I'm more settled now than I've ever been in my life, and I look forward to the achievements of this settled state. It's a goal. It's one of my goals. I ran up and down the highway getting my master's. Ran up and down the highway when I got my doctorate, driving back and forth to Richmond. I literally had to leave home at around 4 in the morning to get to class by 9. Driving from here to Washington, to get up at 4, leave, to get class by 9. And then the goal, GOAL. What is your goal for life now, coming through this pandemic, with the readjustments of masks? What is your goal for your family, for your household, for where you are right now in life and living. What is your goal? Think on these things, this period of contemplation, this challenge to think about, since we've arrived at the middle of this month, what is your goal for the ending of this month? Stay COVID free only. But what does that do? What will remaining COVID free do for you and for yours, for what you're responsible for being a good steward of where your hopes lie, where your body has to be applied in order to feel good about who you are. Completeness of life and living. I borrow this this reflective word from Dr. William A. Jones, a mentor of mine. I guess I'm here again reflecting. Key to strong families is a proper informed man as head with the compatibility and comparable help meet. Non-compliance helps. The sad definition of Dr. William A. Jones become true with most families living in a sick sociology based on a faulty anthropology which emanates from a false theology. So in order to make the sick sociology a healthy sociology, community, make it healthy, there must be some goals that you set for yourself in order to change under your own stoplight or your own lamppost where you live. A faulty anthropology, how you look at one another, that man factor. How do you see yourself? So the real you have to come forth. Emanates from a false theology. Who was God? Who is God? And who will this God be? And who are you within this God person, this personality? And will it be a curative for your sociology, how you live, where you live, your anthropology, how you see yourself, and how do you wish others to see you? Just had a neighbor who was pardoned by the governor, and now mama is one of the happiest women in the world. Her baby is home. Her baby is home. His anthropology. Dad died. And now this false theology, this theology, this teaching about God, this reality of God. I mean, he's the only one I know who makes days, y'all. And on the axis that he has created comes winter, fall, spring, and summer. This so on those axes of his creation, we're able to build life and living as only he as only He is in control of. So today, I again, at the close of this week, I lift that which is a determining factor for me in my life. And one of the ways I got through undergrad, my uncle retired from the Army, but while he was in the Army, he became proficient in refrigeration and air conditioning. And one of the ways myself and his son, my cousin, were able to get through Norfolk State, he started a business after he retired, refrigeration and air conditioning, and he gave us a job. So one of the jobs I'll never forget, whether it was up in an attic at a newly being built home or down under in the crawl space under a house, we had to run duct, especially if we had to install a new air conditioning system. The ducts are what carries in the summertime cool air all over your house. If in the winter, that same duct carries warm air throughout your house. But what my cousin and I were responsible for was to run the duct to the space where the air would come through in the homes, and then we had to insulate it. And that insulation stays there. I admire my 7th grade science teacher who built my house. He went into carpentry, contracting. I admire how warm my house is, even at 15 degrees. how the house maintains warmth because of the insulation. I equate this part of the celebration of the Lord's Supper with insulation. When Jesus says, "This is my body which is broken for you," it's almost as if He is giving us insulation against anything that comes to attack our physical frames. Corona was thought to be so deadly that during March 2020, edicts went all over the country and all over the world, literally, especially here in our Commonwealth and around the world. Governors or then presidents, really mayors, it really hit home first, where guy in your own house saw the temperament of the sociology change, communities changed. But God provided an answer, like insulation, this covering. Now, as we take it in, covers the respiratory system of our bodies. Jesus says, "This is my body which is broken for you. Eat this." There's protection that is released. Protection that is released. A protection that is released. There's a protection that is released. And then he says, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. Here's the vaccine. and of course, my reflection is upon this theology that I've derived in confronting the pandemic, as well as the consequences of it with these with the virus and the variants. People end up saying that they feel as though these mandates, as well as what Dr. Fauci has said and all of this, there's a science that went into creation. There is a science that is under the guise of creation. There is science, and there is a science for health. There is a science for living. I was studying to be a lawyer. That was political science. There is a knowledge-based answer, and it's the science of it. There's a science of creation. Dr. Martin Luther King, we celebrate his contributions, of course, his birth. My son, my oldest son, was born on his day. For me, the authority with which I approached this weekend, approached the middle of this month, approach this segment of my life and my family and his birthday, there's an acknowledgement. There is a science. It's not that I'm dismissed from it. It's part of me. It's part of you. I mean, do you just let your birthday go by? There's a science of celebration, a contemplation. There's a science to what you got on your mind and how you're going to go through your day. There is a science. Jesus is our goal on this 14th day, and biblical numerology is as well. 14 for me now. That's 2 sevens. That's 2 sevens. That's 2 sevens. Seventh day, God rested. Seventh day, He rested. That's a science. It's something about the rest, R-E-S-T, that your body even needs. And to get to double sevens, 21st day, 3 sevens, 28th of the month, 4 sevens. There's something sacred about R-E-S-T, rest. Your whole mental attitude and mental health is part of it. It's part of the theological undergirding that I now approach these holy days with, these seventh day times with. There's a science that goes with it, y'all. There's a science that goes with it. Enjoy your day. My God, I'm piddling around here. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. It's enabling others to get rid of the sickness within the sociology, the faultiness of having the wrong view of ourselves in terms of our anthropology, and then to undergird this thing, with a proper theology, the knowledge of God. You can't make it without Him. He's the only one that make days. He's the only one who can send winds the certain way that it's supposed to blow. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Be blessed. Be blessed.